guys, it's Paul, the MMA Shark, coming at you after another massively large winning fight card. It seems like it's happening more and more often. Since September 1st, I have hit cards at 17-2. 92% of MMA cards have been winning cards. And I'm here to talk about what was actually an awesome night of fights. You know, in my preview video, I said I have a feeling this is going to be a good card. It's a sleeper card. It was a look-ahead card. We're all focused on this Saturday's massive UFC 280 Abu Dhabi. And I'm, for one, cannot wait for that card. 10 a.m. my time Saturday. I'm jawing at the bit at this card. I think there's so much money to be made on it. And I'm going to do a preview video of it. I'm going to throw out some free bets on YouTube. And what I love is a lot of people have been subscribing to the MMA Shark through YouTube. And if you're one of them, drop a comment. Leave some feedback on how you feel the subscription has been so far. October right now is sitting at plus 42 units. And something massive happened during this card, which I will touch on. It's a goal that was really months away. I didn't know if it would happen, and we hit it. So let's talk about some results from UFC Fight Night 62 from last Saturday, Grasso versus Araujo. Great card. So we start off fight one, and I did a video a couple days before, and I just thought that the Mike Jackson-Pete Rodriguez fight was just too trappy. With it being fight one, I didn't like a situation where you have to lay minus 300 to get a knockout win for Rodriguez, or minus 200 to get a knockout win in the first round. I did tell my subscribers the probable outcome would be Pete Rodriguez gets a first round finish. And he did. He disposed of the joke that the UFC had in there in the likes of Mike Jackson. I thought Mike Jackson actually looked worse than Mike Jackson typically looks. But Pete Rodriguez, good striker. I wouldn't put him as a top 15 fighter yet, but he does have really good power. Stylistically, it was a great matchup for Jackson, but I wouldn't say it was a good fight by any means whatsoever. No part of it was a good fight. And, it's one of those things that you laid minus 200 to get a first-round finish, and he gets the finish in the second round. Then we're down 2 units after a fight that was just crap. So that's like the 1 in 50 fights of the UFC that I just don't put a play out on. And it wasn't a play that was worth doing in my books. I gave a little lean, and it came through, but, I didn't advise betting it. So the gambling action, the play action started on fight 2. My play was Tatsuro Taira. And not just to win, because he was juicy. He was minus 280, I think he closed at. So we started with under 2.5 rounds. We put out under 2.5 rounds at plus 165. Cashed it. I had Tatsuro Taira to win by any finish at plus 240. Risked 3/4 unit on it. Cashed it. I had Tatsuro Taira to win by submission. Cashed it. So we start the night huge, winning over 5 units in the first fight. Tatsuro Taira gets a rear naked choke win over CJ Vergara. I'm sorry, it was not a rear naked choke. It was an armbar. He could have finished it multiple ways, but ultimately CJ Vergara did succumb to an armbar in that fight. Pretty competitive fight to start. Taira clearly won round 1 and just wore on Vergara as I thought he would, and we start the night with a big win. Fight 2, I was torn on this. Piera Rodriguez versus Sam Hughes. And it was very clear that Piera Rodriguez won round 1. It was very clear that Piera Rodriguez lost round 2. I thought Hughes threw the better strikes in round 3, and Piera Rodriguez did a better job controlling the cage and securing a takedown in round 3. I had a 1-unit play on Sam Hughes, and she lost. So we're 2 fights in. We win a lot on the first fight, lose a little tiny bit on the second fight. No harm, no foul. We go to fight 4. Again, very juicy. Somewhere I got to pick a prop. There's no way I was laying minus 310 on Joanderson Brito, but I did like Brito to get a finish. The exact play I put out was Joanderson Brito by any finish, minus 165. We risked 1.65 units to win a unit. And we also had Joanderson Brito with a round 1 finish at plus 130, both cashing. So we're through 3 fights. We've profited in 2 of the 3. On to the next fight, which was Martinez taking on Brandon Davis. The UFC did a little quick order switch here, And the reason they did the switch, I know, which I'll touch on before the next fight. So they do go out of order on this fight. And Joanderson and Brito, after that fight, I went with Martinez. It was my play of the night. It was my largest play of the night. He was minus 150. It was a close odds fight. Minus 150 in MMA means absolutely nothing. Went Martinez, minus 150, with a risk of 6 units. Easy cash, 4-unit winner. I then also had a finisher's parlay. I had the Brito and Alexander fight parlayed with the Misha Cirkunov, Alonzo Menifield fight, not to go to the distance. So when I do a finisher's parlay, I basically take 2 fights that I believe aren't going to go to the judges, and we parlay them. So that was a nice hit. Brito versus Alexander, and Cirkunov versus Menifield, not to go the distance. So after fight 6, a fight had come out to a play that I had released earlier in the night. I got some inside news on this fight. It's inside news that I didn't trust entirely enough, but I did hear that Maximov had an injury, and the fight almost didn't happen. We cleaned up on Malkoun because of this. Maximov got hurt in camp a week prior. He didn't get hurt in the fight. If you look at some of the knees and elbows that were landed in round 1, that did not make Maximov as hurt as he was. He came into that fight hurt. He's tough as hell. Good on him for still fighting that fight. He had a legitimate reason to not take that fight if he didn't want to. I had put out Jacob Malkoun plus 145 earlier in the day in my chat at plus 145. He then went down to plus 120. So anyway, you look at that. I had him for 3 units. I had no props on the fight. I just had him to win the fight. And that was indeed the right method, as he won all 3 rounds. He wins the fight 30-27. At one point, Malkoun was minus 17,500 to enter the 3rd round. So Maximov was definitely hurt in that fight. So that ends the prelims, and we just absolutely annihilated the prelims. Main card wasn't bad either. We had a very good main card. Unfortunately, I bit into the Victor Henry hype, and it wasn't solely off his performance versus Rony Barcelos. I thought maybe that was fluky, and I did say that in my last video. Was the Rony Barcelos fight a little fluky, that Victor Henry was able to land 250 significant strikes against Rony Barcelos. We just saw him destroy Tevin Giles. And Raphael Assuncao, good for him. Man, best he ever looked. Victor Henry closed at minus 410. I did not have him straight. I had Victor Henry in 2 parlays. I had him in a parlay with Tatsuro Taira. It was a 3-unit parlay, which went down. And I had him in a parlay with Joanderson Brito, which was a 2-unit parlay that went down. But coming into that fight, we were up so much, it didn't even really feel like a loss. Next fight, I broke even on. I did go with Misha Cirkunov in the smallest of ways, 1.5 units. But I had under 1.5 rounds for 1.5 units. So total break-even fight. Plus we hit our finisher's parlay on that when the fight didn't go the distance. So I knew what my risk was with the remaining part of the night, and I knew what we were up on the night going into this next fight. And I said to my subscribers in my chat, if we win this next fight, we are guaranteeing that we've hit plus 400 units on the year. And this fight was Dusko Todorovic versus Jordan Wright. And the play that I had was Dusko Todorovic minus 225, just risked 2.25 units. It's about the highest I'll go straight. But I wasn't afraid to risk 2.25 units to win a unit on that fight. But the main play was Dusko by TKO KO. It came out at minus 110. We risked 2.5 units on it to cash it. Won 3 units there. From there on out, we did not have a loss. Co-main event, I was torn all week. And a lot of times I am torn all week. I really thought Cub Swanson would have a chance in this fight versus Jonathan Martinez, solely based on who he's fought and how tough he is, how decorated and seasoned of a striker. His offensive grappling is phenomenal. But man, then I'm looking, the last 2 that Cub Swanson defeated, Darren Elkins was one of them. He hasn't beaten anyone in their 20s, and he's coming up on 40. So I did end up going against my gut, and going with Jonathan Martinez in that fight. I just had a feeling he was going to be too much for Cub. And Cub didn't even look awful at 135, on the scale, Cub Swanson looked okay. He isn't on Jonathan Martinez's level. Martinez was a little juicy on it. He closed minus 190, 200 range. So what I did was take my co-main event play and my main event play and made a big parlay of it at plus money because the MMA Shark lives off plus money. We like plus money. The MMA Shark, the world's #1 MMA handicapper. I don't know another handicapper that for a monthly subscription of what I charge, $109 a month with promos on my website right now, that gives you all plays in UFC, Bellator, PFL, LFA, Cage Warriors, Invicta, boxing, Dana White's Contender Series. You get so much plays for your value. It's like, this isn't once a month. There's sometimes where I'm doing 15 to 18 cards a month. So what I had done for the co-main event and main event was made a big parlay. Jonathan Martinez and Alexa Grasso came out to plus 115, 3.5 units on it. Cash it. Big hit. That concluded the night, and in the blink of an eye, the MMA Shark went to plus 409 units. So, really big card, really big night it was. Obviously, I am swamped this week, digging into UFC 280. I want to have another one of those nights this Saturday. Everyone wants the big win this Saturday, and I will have a preview video here up on Wednesday night, and I'm going to do another one on Friday, God willing, if time allows me, and I'll give out some free plays. Make sure you like this channel, subscribe to this channel, get notified when I'm putting out videos. No one puts out more winners than the MMA Shark. I see a lot of other MMA handicappers, they're reaching out to me, congratulating me on the 400. It's a huge number. If you're a $10 a unit bettor, you're up $4,000 this year. And you would have spent $600 to get there. I mean, do the math. 20 unit bettors, they're up $8,000. The majority of my bettors are $40, $50 unit bettors. So they're eating good. They're about to have a really Merry Christmas and a Happy Thanksgiving. I know it's only mid-October, but hey, it's coming. So check me out at www.themmashark.com. Make sure you like this video somewhere, like it. Subscribe to my channel, get notified when I'm posting, because maybe I can make you a little bit of money. For now, I'm the MMA Shark. UFC 280 coming up this weekend. I'm going to be ready for it. Jump aboard. www.themmashark.com. There's even a promo code embedded into the website. Save 25% off your first month. Let's get it.